These are the answers for the chemistry of the atmosphere higher exam questions. So question 1 says, there is less carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere now than there was in the Earth's early atmosphere. The amount of carbon dioxide in the Earth's early atmosphere decreased because it was used by plants and algae for photosynthesis. So that's one way. Dissolved in the oceans and formed fossil fuels. So give one other way, so we can't use the ways they've already given us, that the amount of carbon dioxide in the Earth's early atmosphere decreased. So it's because limestone, which is calcium carbonate, has formed from carbonates. Carbonates being CO3. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. Describe the greenhouse effect. So what we've got is short wavelength radiation passes through the atmosphere then the Earth's surface radiates the wavelength and then these wavelengths are absorbed by greenhouse gases. Such as CO2 or CH4, and that causes temperatures to increase. Next question, the graphs in figure 1 show the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and global average surface temperature since 1900. So we can see here the concentration of carbon dioxide in parts per million from 1900 to 2000, well, past 2000. And then you've got your global average surface temperature from 1900 past 2000. So I'll calculate the percentage increase in the concentration of carbon dioxide from 1975 to 2000. So if we have a look here, use a ruler, that's a good idea. 1975. If we go across, that's hitting 320, and then 2000, gone a bit over, that's hitting 370. So then what you need to do, 370 minus 320, that's the change, is 50, and then because it's a percentage increase, 50 divided by 370 works out at 50 divided by 370 0.135 rounded up, and then times that by 100, it's 13.5% rounded up. Sorry, so you can see here. So we found the concentration at year 2000, concentration at year 1975, done the biggest take the smallest to get the change, and then done 50 divided by the highest number to get your percentage increase, and you've got 13.5%. So for the average surface temperature in 1980, so here we have between 1975 and 2000, there's 10 boxes. So each box, roughly, because there's a 25-year difference, would be 2.5 years. So if we go up for a 1980, not the first box, the second box, because that's 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5, so that's 5 years. And then if we go across the y-axis, each of these has a value of 0.04, and then you've got 2 boxes up, so that's 0.08. So the answer is 15.08 degrees C. Next one. A student stated that the graph show that increasing the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere causes global temperature increases. Discuss why this statement is only partially true. Well, there is a positive correlation between CO2 levels and temperature. Okay, we can see here that at 1900, in 1900, the concentration was 300 parts per million, and an average temperature of roughly 14.8 degrees C. But in 2000, there was an average temperature of 15.2 degrees and 370 parts per million. Despite, however, short-term short-term variations of temperature, we cannot determine the causality. So by that, is it increasing the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere which has caused this global temperature increase, or is it something else? So it's only partially true. Next one. Question 2. The pie chart below shows the composition of the atmosphere on the planet Mars. They like to compare to Mars because Mars has an atmosphere very similar to the Earth's early atmosphere, so bear that in mind. Use the pie chart above to calculate the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere on Mars. So if you count here, all right, all these little sections, they've broke the pie chart up into 20. All right, so 100 divided by 20 is 5. So each of these sections is 5%. So we can see here nitrogen and other gases make up 5%. carbon dioxide must make up 95% then. Okay. Next up, give 2 other ways in which the Earth's atmosphere is different from the atmosphere on Mars. So there is much less CO2 on Earth, and there's also much more nitrogen. We've got roughly 80% on Earth, and here they've got 2.5% on Mars. And here, obviously, on Mars there is 95% CO2, whereas we have like less than 1% on the Earth. Next up, can you see that? So when the Earth was formed, its atmosphere is thought to have been similar to the atmosphere on Mars. Explain how green plants and other organisms have changed the composition of the Earth's atmosphere. So basically, plants take in CO2 during photosynthesis. Plants then give out oxygen during photosynthesis. So that's how they decrease the amount of CO2 in the Earth's atmosphere and increase the amount of oxygen's levels in the atmosphere due to plants carrying out photosynthesis. Also, CO2 is trapped in rocks and fossil fuels. Next question, question 3. This question is about the Earth's atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. What is another greenhouse gas? It's methane. Greenhouse gases cause global climate change because obviously they're trapping the radiation from the sun, the short wavelength radiation. Give 2 effects of global climate change. You've got rising sea levels. You could say melting ice. The North Pole ice caps are melting. You could say extreme weather like hurricanes happening more often. And also linked to the melting ice, you could have loss of habitats. Next question. 4.1 kilogram of a plastic used to make plastic bottles has a carbon footprint of 6.0 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Calculate the carbon footprint of 1 plastic bottle of mass 23.5 grams. So they're giving you in grams, so make sure you convert that first to kilograms. So that's divided by 1,000, and that gets you 0.0235. And then what you're going to do is 6 kilograms divided by 4.1, and then times that by 0.0235, and your answer comes out at 0.0344. Okay? You do also get 2 marks for an answer of 34.4. 4 grams if you've converted it back to grams again. Give one way that carbon dioxide emissions can be reduced when a plastic bottle is manufactured. We could just use less plastic, or also use recycled plastic. Hence why we recycle a lot nowadays. Lastly, explain how the percentage of nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere today have changed from the Earth's early atmosphere. So you've got nitrogen, you've got oxygen, and you've got carbon dioxide. So nitrogen has increased because volcanoes produced it. Oxygen levels have also increased because plants produce oxygen in photosynthesis. But also carbon dioxide levels has decreased because plants use CO2 in photosynthesis. So over the millions of years, carbon dioxide levels have decreased, oxygen levels have increased, and nitrogen levels have increased due to volcanoes producing nitrogen. Also, bacteria produce nitrogen during denitrifying. When bacteria undergo denitrification. And that's it for 6 marks. So I hope you've done well.